Hello, my name is Colin Michel, and I will be going over EFRT 1707. I'm part of the team at EFWA for the summer 2019 session, and EFRT 1707 goes over the Play and Start terminal, and that's what this video tutorial will be about. The product owner is Dr. Masood Sajadi, who is also the mentor. Now, what this involves in is the terminal being able to click play on the terminal to start the expert advisor. And one small UX feature that is important is to make sure that the tooltip either says play or resume depending on the state of the server. So, for example, when it's in status connection status 1, that means it's playing. So obviously you cannot click on the play button here, and there's the only tooltip is it's running. The expert advisor is running. The next connection status represents it being stopped. So the tooltip should say, as this is the title attribute, which represents the tooltip, should say start expert advisor. And the last one is pause. So pause is not starting the terminal from scratch. It is resuming the terminal. So the tooltip should say that. So title equals resume expert advisor. And there's other places here where you set set the 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 functions, and you must make sure the tooltip matches correctly for which status it is. Not only this location, but anywhere else where it asks for the expert advisor connection status. So let's do a quick look at it. Now, because this feature is per account, you will need an account for this feature. So we see here it says resume and start expert advisor. We click play, and we see it plays. Now let's go over the code to see what just happened in here. So we see here, if we click on when it's paused or stopped, it runs the start EA terminal, and it sends in these parameters, which is the expert instance ID, the server address, server data folder, terminal instance, server name, Forex ID, and expert advisor name. Now these are all things that will be required to start the terminal, and then also use it for the specific expert advisor. There's still some missing information here. Specifically, here we do have the Forex ID, but we do not have the Forex password, which we will use later. But there's still some other information that needs to be added to this story that has not been added yet, as there have been new changes to it. So if we scroll down into where it says Start EA Terminal, we see here it takes in all this data, and then it sends it to Start EA Terminal, which will be the controller at the MT4 terminal controller. So it takes all information and sends it to that controller. And if it is successful, then it sets it to being play. As you can see here, you cannot click play on whichever status it is, because that means it's already playing. It's already running. So let's go to the controller. So here it is. We have the controller here with all the information that's passed here. And then we pass this information here. We still don't have the password. And there's a reason why we do not store the password alongside in the front end. A good reason for that is because there'll be security risk, because if they have the Forex ID right there and the Forex password, so for example, if there is some background script in another tab, they could pick up that information on this front end. So it is a security concern not to have the password on the front end here, which is just this is a good idea to make sure you protect the customer. So it passes to the manager, and the manager here is the one that sends it to the web API. So it sends all this information as a JSON, post request in a JSON format, and the web API gets it here. And here's where we will get the password information. Now, since this does not completely match up with the VPS server, we cannot test it, so we have to mock the data. So if we were to check here, we would see examples. You see here, the expert advisor you saw before was test, so you see here it does pass information correctly, and we do return OK, so it's going to the default OK. But in actuality, when it does fully run, what it should be doing is it should get the Forex, uses the Forex service to get the password. So the Forex service stores the Forex login information, and here, as you can see, we have the Forex ID. We get it here. The Forex service passes to that, and then we get the Forex login. After we get the Forex login, we get the password, and then we pass this into the service which is used by the web API. So this makes sure that the password is not in the front end, but is retrieved actually in the web API to make sure that it's not available in the front end for security concerns. Now let's see what we do with it later on. Next, we need to be able to pass it to the actual service where it needs to run the terminal. So we have the server address, which we had before in the as one of the parameters here, the server address. And this server address is where actually we will be sending the request to, and we send this request, and then we have slash start terminal, because this is where the start terminal it happens. So at the server is where it runs, and then we is at this route, and then we send this data, which is a terminal instance, data folder, server name, forex ID, password, and expert advisor name. There's some other data that needs to be added, which has not been added yet, and that is the gist of how EFRT 1707 works. As for adding new information, currently what we'll have to do is either pull the information currently from where we can find it, like this represents the terminal, this D variable, and this represents the server information. But some of the information we may have to add more onto the front end, so that depends on how all the information is. So that would be all. So my email is kmich015@fiu.edu if you have any questions, and Sajadi's email is also available at sajadi@cs.fiu.edu if any other questions.